Miss Jessie with Calvert Library. Thank you so much for joining me today for an episode of It's Elementary. Today we will be reading a story called Pocket Full of Colors, The Magical World of Mary Blair, Disney Artist Extraordinaire. So this is a really fun book, especially if you like Disney or animated movies or colors or art or just reading. I love this story. It's written by Amy Guglielmo and Jacqueline Tourville, and then it's illustrated by Brigette Barrager. This book is published by Athenaeum Books for Young Readers, an imprint of Simon Schuster, so a big thank you to them for letting us read this story today. We'll go ahead and read the story, and then after we will do a fun art project inspired by Mary Blair and her drawings, so stay tuned for that. Under a wide blue sky, on a red dirt road, in a lemon-yellow house, there lived a little girl named Mary. Other children collected marbles or dolls, but Mary collected colors of every shade and every hue. One day, Mary's parents announced they were moving out west. As she waved goodbye to the yellow house, Mary tucked her friend Lemon in her pocket. Mary would miss the happy home, but she had new colors to collect. Driving across the sun-bleached desert, Mary spied russet, taupe, and sienna. When she arrived in California, she glimpsed the azure ocean and found groves of golden fruit dripping from viridian trees. In the city, she discovered steel-gray buildings and mauve-tinted skies. Mary opened her sketchbook. She mixed her paints. She would save these shades for just the right time. When she was older, Mary went to art school. She met Lee. He showed her rosy pink and blushing red. She kept those colors in her heart. Together, Mary and Lee painted rainbows. But it was the Great Depression and people were poor. No one was buying rainbows, except one place. Mary landed a job at Walt Disney Studios, one of the first women ever to be hired. Finally, a place for her colors to run and dance and play as they pleased. But on her first day of work, the men in charge didn't want to talk about cerulean or celadon or cerise. They were only interested in black and white. Mary was told to follow the rules. She tried, but her colors were too vivid, too wild. When Mary turned in her work, all her ideas were rejected. Twinkling emerald skies? The men turned them blue. Magenta horses that could fly? The men made them brown and put them in a stable. Peach giraffes with tangerine spots. Her bosses just shook their heads. They didn't know what to make of her art. But Walt, the man who owned the company, did. He loved her colors so much, he asked Mary to join him on a trip to South America to meet some new ones. Mary delighted in the colors of Brazil, Argentina, and Peru. She worked hard to capture the vibrant scenery. When it was time to go home, Mary's bags burst with fuchsia, teal, aquamarine, indigo, lime green, and banana yellow. After Mary returned to Disney, her concept art for the studio's upcoming films grew even more adventurous as she drew upon the eye-popping shades she'd observed in South America. Cinderella needed a teal pumpkin coach. The caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland could only be aquamarine, and the mermaids in Peter Pan simply had to be lime green. This time, some of Mary's ideas were accepted, but most of her art was still considered too modern, too abstract, and just not right. Mary's colors encouraged her to leave the men with their black lines and strict rules, so she did. Mary quickly found new work designing advertisements, illustrating picture books for children, and creating sets for plays and television commercials. She enjoyed the freedom of these new jobs. But Mary missed Walt. Then one day, out of the blue, her phone rang. It was Walt. "Mary, I have a project for you. I need your wild and beautiful colors," his voice boomed. Walt explained his idea to build a magical ride that would teach people about cultures from around the world. The ride had to be full of color, which meant there was only one person for the job. "Mary, you know about colors I've never even heard of before." Mary smiled, and then she frowned as she remembered the rules and the lines and the men in charge who didn't understand her colors or her style of art. There was only one way to answer. "Yes," said Mary. But her yes came with a condition. This time, Mary wanted to be the one in charge. Walt welcomed her aboard. Mary's paint seemed to sparkle when she hung up the phone. She had never been to places like China or Morocco or Kathmandu, but her colors had. Sitting down to work, she squeezed out dabs of paint. Lemon yellow, aquamarine and azure, mauve, taupe and tangerine, russet, sienna and steel gray, celadon, cerulean, cerise, magenta, teal, indigo, and emerald shined from her palette. And when she picked up her brush, the colors Mary had so carefully collected all her life took her on a trip around the globe. When the work was done and the ride opened, people gasped in awe. It's a Small World was a sensation. When it was Mary's turn to take the ride, she leaned back in the boat and let her colors wash over her. It was a world of laughter, a world of smiles, and color, color, color everywhere. This, at last, was Mary's world. Mary Blair's drawing style and art were so unique, or so different, she's still known for it today. So we're going to make an art project that uses that style that will look just like Mary Blair did it herself. So for this project, we are going to need a blank sheet of white paper. I definitely recommend using white because we are also going to be cutting out shapes from a multitude of colors. So for that, we're going to need a pair of scissors. So you might want to get a grown-up to help you with that since scissors can be sharp. And then we're also going to need glue to glue our shapes onto our white piece of paper. So let's see how to make a castle look just like Mary Blair's. So for our Mary Blair Disney castle, we're going to try to copy these sorts of designs here, these different like castles, kind of houses, these different art collages that she has here. And so for that, we're going to start by cutting out lots of different shapes, things that kind of look like this. This is the inside cover of the book. So I have a yellow here, and for that, I'm just gonna maybe cut out some squares. I have a fairly steady hand. We'll see how straight the shapes come out, but they also don't need to be straight because it is a sort of collage. So if you have some stencils at home or something you want to trace, you can do that too. Like I might trace the bottom of my glue bottle here to cut out some circles. Let's see, I have a pink here. Maybe I'll try to cut out some triangles out of the pink. There's one. Maybe we'll do like some sort of oval here. So go ahead and just cut out a bunch of shapes so we'll have a lot of things to choose from. And then we will go ahead and start making our castle on our white paper. Okay, so here I have all my shapes and my white paper. So now's the fun part. We kind of get to decide where we want everything to go. So I might start by putting some of my big squares down here. And then maybe we'll kind of build it up like a tower. There we go. And then I cut out these little pieces here that look kind of like a flag. So I can have that at the top. Maybe we'll put one more triangle up there. And then, let's see, I have some little pieces we can use as details. So maybe we'll do some little diamonds down here. I've got these little squares we can put. And I'm placing it all out first, and then I'll go back through and glue everything down. Let's see, this is kind of fun here. We'll put these, so just be creative and you can touch things up and cut things differently if you want. And then we'll glue it all down and see what our Mary Blair castle looks like at the end. Here is my Mary Blair castle. I added some little designs on the background. Make it your own, add whatever you'd like to it, and if you do this project, I'd love to see your pictures in the comments on this video. Thank you so much for joining us today for It's Elementary. Make sure you keep an eye on Calvert Library's social media pages for more fun activities you can do at home.